The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Hey, folks, good Wednesday morning to you, and welcome to the show. Stephanie Pauly is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor, text 304-935-5008. We're in the Jarrett Construction Studios, right on time, right on budget. Visit jarrett-construction.com. Phone calls to the show, a service of Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly on Spring Street, Charleston. Texting services provided by Tony the Taylor, Virginia Street. Some dates to keep in mind. November the 18th, the end of Bolt sale. Save up to 50% off custom suits and jackets. Now, Tony's going to be closed Thanksgiving Day and also the following day on that Friday, Black Friday, they called on the 28th. He will be open, however, for Small Business Saturday, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, November the 29th. Also, keep in mind December 4th, holiday trunk shows. Check out bestmastertaylor.com or Tony's Facebook page if you'd like more information. As I said, it's a Wednesday edition of the show, a little closer to the weekend. Coming up a little bit later on, Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango is here. If you got a question, a comment, or concern for the commish, it's your opportunity to get it on his radar. That's coming up a little bit later on. Plus, West Virginia State basketball coach Bryan Poore is going to stop by. We've told you in the past about Earl Lloyd, first African-American player in the NBA, graduate of West Virginia State University. Coach Poore and others at State have really put a concerted effort into remembering the legacy of Earl Lloyd. Now they're doing an Earl Lloyd Classic basketball shootout. It's happening this Friday and Saturday. We're going to talk about that. And we'll get into some other things, too. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor, text 304-935-5008. Let's welcome into the show now our good friend from Union Mission, Jason Quintrell. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I got to ask you how you feeling, man, because I know we were texting back and forth yesterday. You've been a little under the weather. That's why you're not gracing us with your presence in studio today. How are you feeling?
I'm getting better. The fever and body aches are slowing down a little bit. So, yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better. And
COVID is still a thing. People forget about it. They thought it's gone the way of some of these other diseases, which sadly enough, some of them are coming back now, but that's another story for another time. But you texted me and you said you had COVID. I was like, man, who gets COVID anymore? But apparently a lot of people do, and you got it.
I did. I tested positive Sunday night.
All right, but you're doing better now, right?
Yeah, doing much better.
All right. So, explain to us, and I know we got a few things we want to talk about, Jason. We'll try to, not tax your voice too much, but let's talk about what the last couple of weeks have been like for Union Mission. With the government shutdown, and of course, you guys already do a fantastic job of providing various needs for people here in the Kanawha Valley and all over. But what's the last couple of weeks been like for you guys?
Very chaotic, actually. We through our family service department, we serve about 12 families a day. We provide about 2 weeks of food for those 12 families. About a week into the shutdown, we ramped up to 15 different families. And then less than a week, we ramped up to 18 families a day. So that equates to about a little over 1,000 people a month we're trying to feed. It's been pretty chaotic. We're booked about 2 weeks out, but in emergency situations, we are getting people in immediately.
Talk about the services that you provide when you say you take care of these families. What all are we talking about here, Jason?
Yeah, so our family service department, we take care of house fires. We help people in situations that are they're out of job and they need food. We will provide food for them immediately. If they've had a house fire, we put them up into hotels, provided food cards so they can eat at restaurants. We try to provide really, really good, solid, nourishing food for them. So a conglomerate of things that we try to do to help people that are in need.
And that's kind of where what the last couple of weeks have been like. And, of course, the government shutdown, by all appearances, looks like it's going to come to an end with a House vote. I think it's at 4 o'clock or so this afternoon. But it's still going to take a little while to recover from all that, right?
Yeah, most definitely. We're prepared for that.
All right. Well, you guys, as I said, always do a fantastic job. That's why we're glad to partner with you on certain things. All right. So now, as if this time of year with the shutdown and everything, where if that didn't make it chaotic enough, this is all 12 months are your busy time, but this is your really busy time as we head into Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, we are. One of our biggest events of the year is Drumstick Dash. It's Thanksgiving morning. We are in heavy planning mode for that. We've got about 600 runners that are signed up already for that, and pretty excited for our Drumstick Dash. And we got Christmas. We're providing Christmas for foster kids this year all over the state of West Virginia. Really pumped for that. So we got a lot going on. It's a terrible time to get sick, but we have a lot going on, and pretty excited about that.
Your coworkers would say that Quintrell will do anything to try to get out of work.
I've heard that 3 times this week already.
I know you, man. I'll tell you, when we do these events on our parking lot here that we do in partnership with you guys, you're the first one here and the last one out. And no matter how cold it is, how hot it is, you're always right out there with us. So that's just a little jab between buddies right there, because nothing really could be further from the truth. I want to go back to the Drumstick Dash. How many years have you guys been doing that?
14
years. And and we'll have you on before then to talk about it. But where does the route run for the Drumstick Dash?
Haddad Riverfront there, and then it turns around at the Capitol, and then comes back. It's a 5K.
Okay. Now, when people want to sign up, what do they do? Just go to your website or what?
Yeah, the easiest is to go to wefeedpeople.com. You can sign up right through there, or you can go to the AP Timing website and sign up through that as well.
Talking with Jason Quintrell of Union Mission. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Live Healthy West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine, a podcast promoting healthier lifestyles in and beyond the state. Check out the latest episodes, wvmetronews.com, under the podcast menu. And, of course, you guys, during the holiday season, you really, really ramp it up. We talked about the Drumstick Dash, but there's so many things that you do every Christmas. Just talk about a few of them.
In the past few years, well, actually for probably the last 20 years, we have done Christmas for kids in the local area here, and we're not stopping that. We're just going with a different direction. We're partnered with an organization that has provided toys for kids across the state, all counties through their foster programs, and so we've gotten involved with that this year and cleared out our whole second floor of our warehouse to start storing toys and getting ready to get those out. So, man, it's just a cool situation to be able to help foster kids that may or may not have Christmas this year, and we're able to help provide that.
I want to talk about volunteer opportunities because you guys have a full staff out there, but you're always needing people just to come out to help on various things like, just all the activities that you do. Let's talk to civic organizations. Let's talk to businesses. Let's just talk about your volunteer efforts to get more volunteers, I should say.
If you're interested in volunteering, please get a hold of Joyce Davis. You can do that through our website or a phone call at 304-925-0366. Get a hold of Joyce Davis, volunteer coordinator. You can get involved in so many different ways. We have people that come in that put holiday boxes together in our warehouse. We have people come in that will we've had volunteers coming in and helping with our family service coordinators to help with all the calls that we've had come in over the last few weeks. There are multiple ways you can volunteer. We have organizations that come in almost monthly to help around the grounds and help with situations at our thrift store, to help all kinds of different areas. So we have multiple areas to serve, from men's shelter to recovery to many different areas. You can get involved.
Indeed. All right, Jason, I'm going to let you go rest that voice right now. All right. I expect that when we have you on here in a couple of weeks to talk about the Drumstick Dash, that you're going to be all rested up and ready to go, right?
Yeah, man. I really appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk soon. Thanks a lot. Jason Quintrell, Union Mission. Thanks a lot, buddy. All right. Coming up a little bit later on, Kanawha County Commissioner and President of the Commission, Ben Salango, is going to join us. You have a question or comment for the Commissioner, you are more than welcome to call us. He takes phone calls when he's on the show. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858, or Tony the Taylor text, 304-935-5008. Also, going to bring into the show here momentarily Bryan Poore, who's the head basketball coach at West Virginia State University. You know, a simple thank you can mean the world. And this month, WCHS wants to help you say it loud and clear. Here's what we want you to do. We want you to call the text line, 304-935-5008. There's a way for you to leave a voicemail for a veteran who's made a difference in your life. Or you can send us an email if you prefer to do that. Just go over to the website, WCHSnetwork.com. And we're going to take the messages that we get, the voicemails and the written ones, and we're going to compile them all, and all during the month of November, which I know Veterans Day was yesterday, but we're trying to put the spotlight on veterans the entire month. We're going to put those all together, and you're going to be hearing those on the air. So again, call 304-935-5008. It'll prompt you to leave a voicemail there. Or you can go to our website, WCHSnetwork.com, and you can submit an entry there. And this entire thing is a partnership between WCHS and Toyota Manufacturing West Virginia. So big shout out to those folks. It is 9:18. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. If you're injured, visit forthepeople.com. Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango and West Virginia State basketball coach Bryan Poore coming up next on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you looking for a technical job in the medical field? Generations is growing and looking to add on job-trained physical therapy techs to our rehab team. To apply, visit one of our 7 convenient locations or simply click on us at generationspt.com.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal...
It's NBA tip-off week, and FanDuel is your home for live betting. So even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything, from who will score next to fourth-quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to play, now is the perfect time to join, because FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So just visit FanDuel.com/stream to sign up today. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Must be 21 plus and present in West Virginia. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net.
Absolutely not. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Welcome back to the show. It's 9:20. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text, 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds, the Salango Law Light the Night. Returning to Gilmore Ballpark November the 21st through January the 1st. Get your tickets in advance by visiting dblightthenight.com. Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango coming up a little bit later on. Want to welcome in now from West Virginia State the basketball coach Bryan Poore. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Dave, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you for being here, man. You got the Earl Lloyd shirt and everything on, man. You're all about this thing. And you've been on the show a few times in the past, Coach. But for those that don't know, tell us the story of Earl Lloyd.
Well, October 31st, 1950, he was the first African-American to step foot on an NBA basketball floor during a game. He obviously graduated from West Virginia State. He was at West Virginia State from 1946 to 1950. So a lot of people know that part of the story, but not as many know the rest of the story. I mean, team folded about 9 games into it. He was playing for the Washington Capitals. And they folded, so then he got drafted into the Army. He always told me I was the only guy got drafted twice in the same year. And so
one good, one bad.
Exactly.
Well, not bad, but one a little bit more difficult than the other one. How's that?
Correct. So he spent a year and a half, 2 years in the Army. Then when he comes out, the Syracuse Nationals pick him up. Syracuse Nationals are now the Philadelphia 76ers. as they moved the franchise. But in 1955, he and a guy by the name of Jim Tucker become the first two black players to win NBA championship. And then he went on to finish his career with the Detroit Pistons, becomes the first black assistant coach in the NBA. And then they fire the head coach, and he becomes the first black full-time bench head coach in the NBA that was black. Now, the year before that, Bill Russell was a player/coach. So he was coaching, but he was still playing.
Right.
Wouldn't everybody like to do that?
Yeah.
Be a player and coach your team? I mean, I'm taking every shot.
It's exactly right.
But that's Earl's, he's the first in so many things. And in the NBA, he also went on to be one of the first black executives with Chrysler Corporation. I mean, so this guy was a phenomenal human being.
You talk about a trailblazer. I mean,
absolutely.
Most people are lucky if they get one or two remarkable things in their life.
Absolutely.
Guy, from the NBA and what he did at State, and then the different teams he's with, and coach and general manager, and then to totally pivot and become a business executive.
Absolutely. And then he worked under Dave Bing when Dave Bing was the mayor of Detroit as well. So he was kind of the liaison between the police and the black community in Detroit and with the education. So, I mean, this guy, if you really look at him, I mean, and the thing that was even better than all that, I can say all that and how great all that is I got a chance to meet him in 2004 when we retired his jersey, and then became very close friends, spent a lot of time together in a lot of different events over 10 years. And he was just a special human being, more so than just being a pioneer. I mean, he was a diamond, and I was thankful enough that I got to spend a lot of time with him.
Talk about that time you spent with him that had many cases that have nothing to do with basketball and the friendship that you guys forged.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a stroke a few years before he passed away, and so that kind of scared me a little bit, and I called Charlita, and I said, hey, as soon as he gets back on his feet, I need to come down there and spend some time with him. And
where was this?
So
where was he?
That was in Crossville, Tennessee.
Okay.
That's where he ended up retiring.
Yeah.
He's from Alexandria, Virginia, went to West Virginia State, finished his career in Detroit, and ended up in Crossville, Tennessee. He said a few people from Detroit, a couple couples there, they went down there on vacation. He ended up buying a timeshare, and then that turned into a lot, and then he built a house there. So that's where he ended up, retiring at, and where he passed away. But, my dad and I drove down and spent the night with him, and was in his den actually watching. This was in May, June, and I remember vividly Oklahoma City was playing San Antonio Spurs in the NBA playoffs, and I'm sitting here with Earl Lloyd just, talking life and talking basketball. And what's crazy is when we went back a few years later to start documentary that we've got done and hopefully will be released soon, I didn't recognize it when I was down there the first time, but when I went back the second time, nowhere in his home was one picture, one ball, one trophy, one book, one anything displayed that ever told you he played basketball, let alone that he's in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame and that he's the first black player to ever play in the NBA. Nothing was displayed in his home. That's how humble this guy was. And we're going through his home and getting some B-roll footage, and Kevin opens up the door to a closet in the den that I was sitting in a few years back watching basketball. In the floor of his closet was his Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame trophy.
Wow.
Now, I promise you, most people, Charles Barkley for one, I would say, has got that trophy and his centerpiece and a light shining down on it.
Take the kids' pictures down if you have to.
Oh, absolutely. But Earl was just that way. I mean, he was just a special human being.
Talking to Coach Bryan Poore for West Virginia State about Earl Lloyd. Talk about that documentary, because I know I've had, like I said, you've been on a couple times. We talked about the issues of trying to get this documentary out. So give us an update on that.
Yeah, the money guy behind it, documentaries don't make a whole lot of money, but right. The money guy behind it has kind of got it held up right now. Cootie Simmons was one of the producers, and so Cootie Simmons' name's probably, is going to be recognizable by a few people. He did the Benji 30 on 30 on ESPN called Benji, and he also did the 4-part docuseries on Kanye West that was released a couple years ago. So, I mean, Cootie's a good producer, and the film's good. I mean, Carmelo's in it, and Kawhi Leonard is in it, and Oscar Robertson's in it, and so and the guy behind it, I mean, I think he had good wishes. He wanted to get it out to the inner cities and have everybody, all the inner city youth, be able to see it for free. And it was really done right before COVID, and then COVID hit. And then that backed everything up, and now we've just not been able to get it released.
All right, but we're hoping that because this is a story, Coach, that I think needs to be told.
Absolutely.
And I know you guys are doing it for your players that come to state, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But it needs to go everywhere. Anybody, everybody a kid that I really don't know what Earl's growing up was like. You probably know more about that than I do, but I'm just going to say, even if he came from the wealthiest of backgrounds, being an African American at that time in America and coming of age during the beginnings of the civil rights movement, when there was still a whole lot of prejudice, to go on to play in the NBA, to coach in the NBA, to do what he did with Chrysler and later with the city of Detroit. People need to hear the story. And when you were talking about the people that's on the documentary, the fact that Carmelo Anthony and the others, that they know the story is promising.
It is. It definitely is. And, Earl always deflected to Jackie. He always, anytime I ask him about it, he goes, Jackie did it before me.
Yeah. Jackie Robinson.
We're talking about. And, of course, everybody knows Jackie by one name.
Yeah.
He's got a movie, 42, out and all those things. But I used to always tell Earl, you went through the same hardships. You didn't stay in the same hotels as the white players or eat in the same restaurants as the white players. And they even, when he was with Syracuse, they had an exhibition game in South Carolina. And South Carolina said, yeah, we'll host the game, but you cannot bring Earl Lloyd. He can't play. You can't bring Earl Lloyd.
Right.
And so, he went through hardships like that. And so he had every reason to be mad at the world with what he went through. Not Earl.
The exact opposite.
He was just such a nice guy. And just, like I say, every time I talked to him, he never talked about himself. He always, hey, how's your family doing?
Ask more about you.
Want to know about my dad and my kids. And so he, like I say, he was a special guy.
Talking to Coach Bryan Poore, West Virginia State University. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Their services involve developing comprehensive management plans to outline strategies for controlling and minimizing asbestos exposure. Perfect for commercial property owners and managers. Check out pinnaclecorp.net, because what you don't know can't hurt you. Coach, when you have players that come onto campus, and some from West Virginia, some from out of the state, what do you do as a coach, and what does the institution do to make sure that people know the story of Earl Lloyd, whether they're playing basketball or not? The average student comes on campus. What goes into that?
Well, a couple things. First off, every phone call I have with the recruit, that's one of the first topics I bring up, and because I want to educate the young, and so it's crazy because I ask all of them, who's the first African American to ever play in the NBA? Not one has ever got it right. Not one ever. And so, that tells you that the story needs to be told. And then also back in 2014, when we opened up our new arena, the Walker Convocation Center, I was fortunate enough to have met a guy by the name of Brian Hanlon, and Brian Hanlon was the official sculptor of the NBA. And so, Brian and I met in New Orleans at the Final Four in 2012. Only because my wife wanted to go to New Orleans, or else I wouldn't have even went to the Final Four that year. But because she wanted to go, then I end up in New Orleans. I meet Brian Hanlon. I see a statue that he did of Shaq, and I get him involved with this. He charges us nothing for his artistic work because he knew Earl Lloyd and got to know him when Earl was inducted in the Hall of Fame. And so the statue is in our lobby. Every recruit comes in. That's one of the first things that we go see. And even in our admissions department on the campus tours, they always bring them by and show them the Earl Lloyd statue.
And I think that's so important that young people, no matter what the story is, whether it's Earl Lloyd or whatever, Coach, that young people need to know that the foundation for what they are allowed to do today was that was forged by somebody generations ago.
Absolutely. And, for a long time, the NBA brought him in while he could still travel and all that, brought him in to meet with the rookies. Mm-hmm. And so he kind of shared their story with them. But everybody,
and that says something about him right there, Coach, is that the NBA, because, in the world of sports, you got people that you want the young guys around, and you got people that you don't necessarily want them around. Mm-hmm. And this happens frequently in the NFL and other sports as well. They say, okay, we got rookies coming in. We want you to try to model yourself after these people, not necessarily that guy. So we're going to put some positive people out in front of you.
Absolutely. And Jim Tucker was the other African-American that was on Syracuse Nationals team when they won the NBA championship in 55. And Jim was younger than Earl, probably 4 or 5 years younger than Earl. Jim came up when we unveiled the statue as well. He has since passed away. But Jim tells the story of how Earl was really kind of his mentor and kind of, led him. Earl always made him dress up. He said all the time when they were on the road, Earl was in a suit and tie because Earl says, I'm not going to give them anything negative to say about me. They're going to say enough about me anyway.
Right, yeah.
I'm not going to give them anything negative to say about me. So I'm going to be dressed first class. I'm going to act first class. And Jim was more of an outgoing, kind of out in the clubs and all that kind of things. And he used to always say, man, Earl would go to listen to some jazz in certain towns that he knew was safe. But he would always say, Earl would say, all right, Jim, let's go. Time to get out of here. And so he'd take Jim home. And so that was just Earl. I mean, he was a leader, and he knew right from wrong. And we're lucky enough to have him be the guy that broke the color barrier in my estimation.
So talk about what's going on this weekend.
Earl Lloyd Classic, year 10, I believe, this year.
Okay.
And so we started this, like I say, 10 years ago. Our president at the time, Dr. Hemphill, wanted us to pay homage to our heritage in the CIAA. When Earl played here, that's where the team played. West Virginia State played in the CIAA. So we always bring in one other conference team and then 2 teams from the CIAA. And so we have this year, we have Livingstone and Claflin University coming in from the CI. And then we have Glenville State is going to be there from the Mountain East. So on Friday, the games will be at 5:30, 7:30, and then Saturday at 2 and 4. We play the late games on both those days. So we'll play at 7:30 on Friday and 4 o'clock on Saturday.
Is there an effort when these teams come in, especially, Glenville's one thing, but maybe some other teams that aren't familiar with the story, is there a little education that goes on with them? Because, this time of year, as you well know, Coach, you're playing some kind of a tournament or a shootout all the time named after this person or that person. Maybe they know who the person is. Maybe they don't. Is there an effort to maybe for these outside teams to say, here's you got that name on your shirt now as a T-shirt as a reminder. Here's who this person was.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially Livingstone's coach, Coach Stinson. He's an older coach, and he comes back every year, and he says, I come back for Earl Lloyd. And so I know he shares it with his team. And Bryan down at Claflin this year, I'm sure he will too. But they all come in through the lobby. And this year's the 75-year anniversary of Earl playing in the game, being 2025, and he played in 1950. So the NBA has got behind it. This shirt I'm wearing here, the NBA has paid for and given to all the participants.
Yeah, it's got other names on it too.
It does, because the pioneers, a lot of people will say Chuck Cooper, the first black player to play in the NBA, Chuck Cooper. Well, that's not true. Chuck Cooper was the first black player to get drafted. He was drafted in the second round by the Boston Celtics. Now, the minute thing that hardly anybody knows, Chuck Cooper was at West Virginia State as a freshman, and he was only there for first semester. He got drafted into the Army. After his 2 years, he ends up going to Duquesne, which is where he was from, Pittsburgh. And then Sweetwater Clifton is the other one that's on the shirt, and Sweetwater Clifton was at Xavier University in Louisiana, an HBCU there. But he was playing for the Harlem Globetrotters. And so Sweetwater was the first black player to sign an NBA contract.
Okay.
So the NBA has really been promoting all year.
You have
all
to,
three
if you're going to tell the story, you really got to tell all three. In my opinion. Yeah.
You do. Just the way the schedule fell, because Earl was drafted, I believe, in the 9th round. I think is like the 100th pick. And so, but the way the schedule fell, October 31st, 1950, he was the first to play.
Can you imagine with the modern athletes having to have that hang over their head that they may be drafted? The 19, 20-year-old athletes, hot shot. And I'm not trying to, cast any negative light on modern athletes. Many would be the first to step up and say, let's go. But it's a different world. I don't know if the young guys and girls for that, guys, I guess, they don't understand that, you may have to put down the basketball or the football or the baseball and go to a foreign land.
Yes, absolutely. Back then, and when Earl, the Korean War was going on. And so that was and Earl actually didn't go overseas, and he played some Army ball. They had, Army ball and what have you. Spent a year and a half, but, and Chuck Cooper, he got his college education interrupted. I mean, he's a freshman, first semester, and they're like, you got to go to the Army. So it's definitely a different time.
Coach Poore, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show to tell the Earl Lloyd story, and our hope is that anytime we have you on, that somebody hears it that didn't know the story, and hope that you can go out and take in some great basketball this weekend, and keep us updated on that documentary, all right?
Absolutely, we'll do. I appreciate you having me on, Dave.
All right, Coach Bryan Poore, hold on one second here. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Huston's Pizza. This month, get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an 8-inch chocolate chip cookie, $23.99. Find your nearest Huston's for delivery, dine-in, or pickup at HustonsPizza.com. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-500. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango is here on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses care for your family.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
At Toyota, supporting our nation's heroes isn't just a promise, it's a purpose. Through the Toyota Veterans Association, over 1,500 members nationwide provide mentorship, advocacy, and career pathways for veterans transitioning from service to success. Right here in West Virginia, Toyota proudly honors our fallen through the Gold Star Mother's Apple Orchard, a living memorial for reflection and remembrance. And our commitment continues, supporting local heroes, families, and foundations that make our communities stronger. Toyota, driven to serve those who served us.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Have you been injured in a trucking incident?
Call today, Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
The high school football playoffs are underway. Get coverage with live and archived games, top plays, and in-depth analysis from Joe Mercado and Greg Carey. Plus our exclusive new interview series, State of Mind, and your favorite daily programs right on your smart TV or streaming device. Get more information at WVMetroNewsTV.com. Metro News Television is powered by Dan Cava GMC, Gomart, Lou Wendell Marine, Stike Wealth Enhancement, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and Poca Valley.
The latest in news, talk, and sports when 580 WCHS is brought to you by Jarrett Construction. Call 304-344-9140 for more information.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
Welcome back to the show. 21 minutes away from 10. Texas West Virginia State, for a small college, has had a lot of pioneers. 100%. I would agree with that. Coming up later today, Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. With 13 News and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and me, we are, of course, going to be checking in on the coal mining story out of Nicholas County. It's Wednesday, which means we're going to introduce you to another wonderful West Virginian. Daniel Woods is here to talk high school playoffs and the release the most recent Tudor's Biscuit World Power Index, and Aubrey Sparks from the ACLU will stop by. We're going to talk about National Adoption Month and, of course, Open Line West Virginia. Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law, noon to 3 today with 13 News and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and me. That is coming up at noon, as I said. On this show tomorrow, the local show, South Charleston Mayor Frank Mullins is going to join us. So Dave Allen's show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by the all-new Generations Ford of Hurricane. Your family and locally owned Ford dealership. Ask about X-Plan discount pricing on the purchase of every new Ford. They're also offering 130% Kelley Blue Book fair trade value for your vehicle. Check them out today, just off the Hurricane exit or online, generationsford.com. One destination for every generation, Generations Ford. See dealer for details. Welcome in Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. I just committed the Kanawha County Commission to something as in the changeover there with Coach Poore. That you guys are going to, at some point, we're going to bring this up about having an Earl Lloyd Day in Kanawha County.
Yeah, we definitely should do that. That's a big deal.
It is a very, very big deal, and I've had Coach Poore on a couple of times, Ben, to talk about the story of Earl Lloyd, because so many people, I think, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm picking on young people. I'm talking about people our age don't know about Earl Lloyd. I mean, think about this. Okay, again, you know what he did at West Virginia State, military veteran. First black player to suit up in a game, First black assistant coach. He was, after the coaching, he went on to a successful business career, high-ranking official with Chrysler Motor Corporation in Detroit, executive assistant to the mayor of Detroit, and that's
pretty impressive.
And all from a kid that played at West Virginia State.
It's funny because I didn't know anything about Earl Lloyd until I was actually on campus at West Virginia State and saw the statue.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I started reading about it, and that was probably 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah,
or 6 years ago, but it was definitely not before that.
Well, they're trying to get that documentary finished. There's been some financial issues. It got delayed by COVID, but I think it's a story, Ben, that you talk. I'm a sports documentary nut. If it says 30 for 30, I'll watch it. No matter what. I've got a bank of them recorded, as a matter of fact. But I love this stuff. But you talk about a great story that everybody needs to see.
Story.
Even if you're not this is not a sports story. I mean, this is a story of triumph and overcoming and so on and so forth. So even if you're not a basketball person, this definitely would be something everybody needs to check out.
Yeah, basketball was just kind of a way for him to get out there. And by the time, and then he's been successful in everything that he did.
He would have been a success, I think, no matter if he never picked up a basketball.
That's right.
That's kind of the way I look at him. All right. So it's the subject that will not go away, Ben. It's Halloween. All right.
Halloween.
Particularly,
it's November. Why are we talking about Halloween?
Because you guys did something last week related to this, particularly Trick or Treat. 2 weeks ago, Trick or Treat for Kanawha County, originally scheduled for Thursday night, got moved to the actual Halloween night on Friday night. And you joked on the show that day. I think we had you on maybe the day after the announcement, so maybe Wednesday. I think you were on the show that day. You joked then. You said, and I think your words were, "We just need to move trick or treating to October 31st, no matter what." And I guess the other commissioners were on board.
They were, and so it's
a thing.
It's not a criticism of what the commission has done in the past, because I think there are very valid reasons to try to keep it off of a Friday or Saturday. And honestly, a lot of people are upset that it's eventually going to be on a Sunday. But you want to make sure that you're doing all you can to protect the kids. But at the end of the day, I think that it needs to be the parent's responsibility. If it's raining, you don't need the county commission to tell you, keep your kid inside. That's something the parents can do. If it's snowing, if it's cold, you don't need the county commission to say, it's way too cold for your kid to be outside. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. It's the parents. And if you want to take your kid out trick-or-treating and it's snowing or it's raining, take them. And it's not necessarily going to be on a Thursday night or a Wednesday night like we had done in the past. It's going to be whenever the 31st is. And
we talked about that before, because you're not going to make everybody happy. I mean, people don't want it on Wednesday night because in many areas it's a church night. They don't want it on Thursday night because it's middle school basketball or middle school sports
football,
night. Football. I mean, Friday they don't want it because it's high school. Saturday, the thing is that, we don't want them out when all the people are going to the bars, and we don't want it on Sunday. But you're saying going forward, barring anything, that trick or treat in Kanawha County will be held on the 31st.
On the 31st. And I was thinking about it, and I don't remember. I guess it's been so long when I was growing up. I don't remember them bouncing the day around. It was always on the 31st. And
no matter what.
Remember, I don't remember trick or treating on a Sunday or it mattering that it was on a Sunday. A lot of people go to church in the mornings, and they'll have maybe a family gathering at noon or something. But it's going to be 6 to 8 p.m. on the 31st. It doesn't matter what day it's going to fall on, and it's going to take a major event for that to be moved, because one of the things, and there's some validity, and by the way, I did some research too. Mm-hmm. Google was my friend. I tried to figure out exactly what other communities were doing, and primarily they just hold on the 31st all across the country. So I think a lot of people were anticipating it being on Thursday. Some people had to take off work. Now, the truth is, the weather came in. It wasn't nearly as bad as we were predicting, but, trying to predict the weather and move an event like that when parents are taking the day off or the evening off from work to take their kids trick-or-treating, to move it to Friday. And I got to be honest with you, on Thursday, it was 3 p.m. I was sitting in my office and I looked out the window and it was sunny. And so I called a couple of my meteorology friends and I was like, look, is this going to happen or not? Because if it doesn't happen, I'm going to have to list my house and move out of town. And they said, oh no, just wait. It's happening. And, we got some weather. It wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be, particularly the wind, which is what I was worried about. 40 mile an hour winds, kids out trick-or-treating, tree branches falling, drivers, having trouble with visibility. That's what I was worried about. So then we moved to Friday. Friday was a perfect weather day for trick or treat, but honestly, I probably could have had it on Thursday anyway.
All right. So going forward, no matter what,
it is the 31st.
Okay.
It is the 30th. And again,
and we had a text here. Somebody said about it being on a Sunday.
I agree.
Even if it's on a Sunday.
Even on a Sunday. And I will tell you now, so go ahead and prepare for it now. October 31 of 2027 is a Sunday. So go ahead and prepare for it. If your kids, you don't want them trick-or-treating on Sunday, take them to a trunk-or-treat earlier in the week. But you've got 2 years' notice to deal with it, right?
All right.
And
again, that said, the thing that's the most ridiculous thing about this to me, Ben, and I promise we're going to move on, is that the fact you can trick or treat anytime you want. You don't need to. I mean, you want to, and because there's extra law enforcement officers and so on and so forth that you want to put into play, emergency services. But you can trick or treat anytime you want. Yeah, there's no trick or treat police.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I was Friday night during trick or treat. I was a nervous wreck. I kept thinking, now it's high school football. You've got people there. We moved trick or treat, and the municipalities followed, and I pray nobody gets hurt. I pray. I was a mess. Like Friday, I was like, this is going to be on us if some kid gets hurt. And that evening, I said, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to move the commission to try to do this thing on October 31. It just makes sense that you don't need the government jumping in to when your kids can go get candy. Come on. We got more important things to do, quite frankly.
All right. Quick text. Unless everyone is willing to move Christmas to another day, don't mess with Halloween trick-or-treating. So,
that's right. We're not touching Christmas, and we're never touching trick-or-treat.
All right. Did anyone ever think about no football games on the last Friday in October? Had that day just for trick-or-treat, just curious. So, in other words, you go to your high school teams and say, you're going to play on, we can't play on Thursday.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Now look what you've done, Salango.
Listen, I'm not messing around with high school football, and I'm not messing around with trick-or-treat. So those are off limits for the county commission.
All right, quick text. Church folks aren't more important than us heathens who celebrate All Saints Day. We lived through the 70s just fine. All right, I'm off this now.
It's such a fun topic because honestly, everybody has so many opinions. And I joked on the show last time, the people that are raising Cain online are probably the ones that turn off their lights and hide inside and pretend like they're not home anyway, but they just want something to vent, and that's okay.
That's all right.
We're here for it. I can be a punching bag. In fact, a lot of it is just hilarious to me. Like people will screenshot it and send it to me. I just crack up. But
here's what I predict. Okay, and you and I have never talked about your political future. You're happy being a Kanawha County Commissioner, but let's just say you're running for re-election for Kanawha County Commissioner, okay, or whatever the office is.
Yep.
I can hear it now in that deep voice. Ben Salango destroyed trick-or-treating. Ben Salango hates your kids.
He chose Satan on Sunday. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be bad.
All right. So let's get serious now. You rolled out a new app last week, and you want to talk about that.
You know what? And it's funny because it was also on the last show that somebody texted in or called in and said, what's up with the Kanawha app? It doesn't work. And the truth is I hadn't had the app on my phone in a long time because it didn't work that well, the prior app. And so the commission had been working on a new app. Our emergency management has been working with Metro 911 and working on a new app, and we just launched it at the commission meeting on last Thursday. So if you want to get alerts, we're talking weather alerts, traffic alerts, you can do emergency management. We give safety tips on there, emergency contact information. All of it is on this one app. If you go to the App Store, whatever phone you have an iPhone or Android, you go and you type in Kanawha Alert, and it should be the first thing that comes up. You download it, and you will get, and you can set your notification preferences. You don't want this thing dinging on your phone every 2 seconds. Yeah. But you can set your notification preferences, but you'll get it all. If the interstate shut down, you're going to see it. If you're going to see, right now the 800 block at Kelly's Creek Road in Sissonville is shut down due to an accident. Now, the one flaw that we have on the app, which we're working on fixing, is a lot of these alerts need to be timed. Like, I don't know exactly when that alert came out. So now we've got an accident in the westbound exit ramp at Nitro. So I don't know exactly when that happened. Was it immediately or was it 20 minutes ago?
Okay.
So we're going to put a timestamp on all the alerts.
You got to do that.
That's going to be updated. But everything else is great. If you need There was a presentation. You can actually text 911 from this app. And there have been situations where people have been kidnapped. Mm-hmm. They've been in the trunk of a car. You can't call 911.
You got an emergency situation, an abusive situation. You don't necessarily want somebody to hear you on the phone, so you can actually text 911.
You can text it, and 911 actually receives text. A lot of people don't know that, but you can actually text it. The other thing, too, is when you text 911, they can pinpoint within a 10-foot radius of where you're located.
Right.
So
if somebody texts the word help,
yes,
like, whatever,
they will know where you are. They will know where you are.
That's very good to have. I hope you never have to use it, but it will be used.
The other thing, too, that this app does, which I did not realize until they demonstrated on Thursday, is you can set up like a buddy system. So if your friend's going to go on a hike, you can actually share your location on the app. So you both have to have the app. So, Dave, if you went out to Kanawha State Forest, you said, "Hey, I'm going to go for a hike." You share your location with me on the app, mm-hmm. and I can track where you are. Mm-hmm. And so if something happens, then we know where to find you.
Okay.
Okay. So it's.
Do you want me to start doing that?
Please don't.
Okay.
Please don't.
Well, the chances of me going out for a hike are probably non-existent anyway. All right, we got to take a break. All right. Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango is here for Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Fresh Air Filters of Tays Valley. Fresh Air is your trusted filter experts for both your home or business. 304-440-1104. Visit freshairfilters.us because everyone deserves fresh air. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses have been creating jobs in West Virginia since 1997.
My name's Chris Miller. I'm president of Dutch Miller Automotive. Jarrett Construction completely renovated and helped redesign Dutch Miller Kia in South Charleston. The fit and the finish and the quality of the project is exceptional. He has an attention to detail and an eye for that kind of stuff. You always want to give your best to your customer. It's just as important to him as it is to you. If you're ever looking to build anything, I'd call Jarrett Construction because you know exactly you're going to get something excellent every single time.
Call on Jarrett Construction.
Hey guys, Dave Allen here for the all-new Generations Ford of Hurricane, your family and locally owned Ford dealership. With construction underway and new Fords hitting the lot every day, we're providing our customers with X-Plan discount pricing on the purchase of any and every new Ford. This means you pay what Ford suppliers pay. On top of these market-only discounts, we're also offering 130% of Kelley Blue Book Fair Trade value for your vehicle. Visit us today off the Hurricane exit or online at generationsford.com. One destination for every generation. Generations Ford. See dealer for details.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
About 50 or more.
Welcome back to the show. It's 9:55.
Hot mic.
Hot mic. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you by Bridge Valley Community Technical College. Insurance agents in demand of the state and all across the country. Bridge Valley can help you take that first step. Their insurance pre-sales licensure course prepares you to set for the state-required property and casualty insurance licensure exam. Start your career in this ever-growing field. Visit bridgevalley.edu for details. Bridge Valley Community Technical College. Your career starts here. Ben Salango, Kanawha County Commission President, is here. Text says, does location sharing need to be turned on for 911 to find you? I would presume it would be.
I think it has to be.
Text says, any way to have a chip scanner on the app so if you find a stray, you can check, this is a stray animal, you can check it for owner and home without trying to get them into your car, taken to a vet or a shelter for a scan.
I don't know how those work. Are there apps now where you can check, like if you find a stray for a chip, or do you have to take them to the animal shelter?
You're our technology expert.
Not a pet guy. Sorry, I don't know.
Stephanie?
You got to take them to the vet. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's possible.
Okay. All right. We had a text here. I wanted to get your take on it. It says, why did Kanawha County demolish the old Macy's building before funding and planning it for the sports center we're final?
Well, because we needed to secure the land. We needed to come up with the plan. We had the finances in place. We're still waiting on a request for an earmark that we submitted. In fact, there was an earmark that was approved back in 2024, and then the federal government couldn't pass a budget, so we lost our earmark. We had the financing in place. But it was going to be a $70 million earmark. Congress was unable to pass a budget that year, and so we lost it. And so that's the holdup. So we've submitted again, and I say this every time I bring this up, I'm not blaming anybody. Mm-hmm. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying that was the funding plan. It was we had scaled the project back because of all the ARPA funds that had come in. It driven up the cost of construction significantly. From like $350 a square foot to almost $700 a square foot. So we had to scale back the project. That's when we phased out the pool and thought about maybe we can do the pool at some other time. And so then we had the financing in place. The city was ready to bond a portion. We were ready to bond a portion. We each put in, I think it was around $5 million. And we had everything ready to go. And then Congress couldn't pass the budget to approve that earmark that we had been awarded. But again, Getting the letter is one thing, getting the cash is something else.
Indeed. Text says, Dave, can you ask Ben, are they going to have family pricing this year for Light the Night? For a family of 5, gets darn expensive, and then they nickel and dime you inside. I don't know. Is that something that you can answer? I don't know if that's you or not.
Yeah, I have to take my commission hat off. Okay. I think there are family nights. And let me say this, if there's somebody out there that can't afford it, all you got to do is reach out, because we do have some complimentary tickets, and we do sponsor some families. It can be quite expensive, but right. Just to go in and see the lights, it's not that bad.
Text says, for Ben Salango, good morning. My question related to smart meters. How is it legal to not be able to opt out? They emit more EMF radiation than our cell phones, up to 19,000 pulses per day. Constant exposure has been linked to sleep disorders, headaches, not heartaches, even brain tumors. Why is it not possible to opt out of those?
I do not know.
Okay.
You can't buy an old meter anymore. That's all they make.
Okay.
Smart meters. I mean, seriously, you can't go buy an old meter that you would read, or even an RF meter. They don't make them anymore.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. There you go. That's why we keep him around.
Yeah.
Thank
all right.
You're welcome.
All right. Final 45 seconds. What else is on the radar for Commissioner Salango and the commission?
You know what? So we've secured the architect that's going to do the designing. We got to engineer the new Kanawha County Sheriff's shooting range. We're looking at that. We've got that in place. We're hoping that the design will be finished. The ZMM is going to work on the design through the winter, and then by the time spring rolls around, we'll be able to start construction. I hope to have that done probably summer to fall of next year. That's a big deal, so anxious for that to happen.
Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango, appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Meadows and Wilson coming up with Talk Line. Shelley Moore Capito off the top. Is that still right?
That's right. And EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin.
Okay, they're together, and they're going to be on this phone call together.
There it is.
See you later today. Till then, have fun and love somebody.